Welcome to the J.R. Eldridge Show with the head coach of the 2014 Arkadelphia Football Badgers. The production of the J.R. Eldridge Show is made possible with help from Arnold Batson Turner & Turner, attorneys at law; Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments; Austin Wingfield State Farm Insurance; Southwest Sporting Goods; and ESPN Radio 106.9 in Arkadelphia.
Welcome to the J.R. Eldridge Show. I'm your host, Jackson Carter, and here alongside me is head coach of the Arkadelphia Badgers, Coach Eldridge. Coach, thanks for being here this week.
It's great to be here.
All right, so first game of the conference season, we go down to Nashville. A hard-fought game for both sides. Arkadelphia comes a little bit short with the loss. However, a lot of good learning points, especially coming out of a good game against a very good team.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Nashville, very well coached football team. A lot of athletes all over the field. But I was really pleased with the way our players responded, especially in the third quarter. The first two quarters, we really, they kind of brought the fight to us. We didn't take the fight to them. Offensively, we really couldn't get going. So proud of our defense for hanging in there throughout that whole first half. Second half, we're able to score 21 unanswered points. So really excited about the way our players responded, even in a situation that was not favorable. And then in the fourth quarter, we just made a couple of really execution mistakes that cost us the game. The game is really not won on one or two plays, won or lost on one or two plays, but those plays were really magnified in that fourth quarter because it was such a tight game. But again, as we've talked about, we've already had our meeting from Sunday, and we've talked about how winning only shows some of your character, whereas losing shows all of your character. And so the biggest point that we're trying to make with Arkadelphia football is how to respond to that loss. And what's really kind of crazy about our situation is our juniors have only lost 2 times, and our seniors have only lost 4 times in 3 years. So, that the first thing we had to do is learn what to do at the end of the game when you lose. The 2 of those games that we lost over those past 3 years have been playoff games, so it's the end of the season. So they really didn't even know what to do at the end of the game. And so we had to learn that. Hopefully we don't experience that again. But really excited about this group of players and just watching them learn from their mistakes. And as a head coach, I feel responsible for that loss, responsible for our players not being prepared as we should have been. As we reflected as a coaching staff, there were several things that I felt like I could have done better. And same thing across the board with our coaching staff. We've just got to learn from these mistakes and move forward. Again, a great Nashville football team that we got beat by, but there were some situations that we could have put ourselves in to really finish that game off after that third quarter.
Let's go ahead and look at the highlights and see how the game went. Again, a very good team, like you said, in Nashville. Arkadelphia, obviously a very good team as well. Arkadelphia, as you said, Nashville came out, it seemed like a little bit quicker, but as you also said, your defense did a good job making sure it covered for the offense, especially in this first half.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, our front played well. Really pleased, though, with our secondary. Our secondary did an excellent job. Brandon Moore was locked up on LaMichael Petway. I think he was committed to Ole Miss. I don't know if he decommitted or what happened there, but either way, great football player. Brandon Moore did an excellent job, really, the entire game of locking him down. So really pleased with that.
And as you're talking about, Brandon Moore on him the whole night, and as we'll see later in the game, he makes a whole bunch of great plays. We saw your defensive line do a good job stopping a very athletic quarterback, and then right there, special teams was another big thing. I think Nashville only converted 2 of their extra point attempts the entire night.
We really did. I thought our defense did an excellent job there. We only got to return 1 kick, and really our kickoff coverage made a huge improvement from the week prior. So I was pleased with that. We've got to do a better job of executing our punt. Toward the end of the fourth quarter, we don't execute the punt, or toward the first part of the fourth quarter, we don't execute that punt. And so we really felt like even though it was pretty even in the kicking game, we really felt like because of that play, we lost the kicking game battle. So we've got to do a better job there. Again, Brandon Moore just doing an excellent job on number 4 there. Good tackle right on the goal line to keep him out there. So really proud of the way he played. And then we start off, we were able to run the football a little bit, but really not we weren't physical enough up front. They've got a really good defensive line. You see we take the bubble here, and I felt like all night we had the bubble quite a bit. You can see down at the bottom of the screen, they're giving us that bubble screen that we like to take when they give it to us to spread out the defense and make them respect that pass so that we can run the football again. And there were at least 4 times, probably more than that we did not take the bubble. And so we've got to do a better job of that to spread that defense out so we can run the football better.
And right here, obviously, Nashville's trying to get to the outside. Your guys do a good job extending the play. And then also Adrian Barrett right there coming out from a safety position, making a good tackle. But also one thing that you can notice is a swarm rate, and especially against a very athletic team like Nashville, that's incredibly important.
Yeah, it really is. They did a good job of what we call cutting down the space, making sure that we don't give that offense space to work with, and I thought our defense did an excellent job of that. Our defense, we got 9 returning starters on defense, so we've got to be able to do that every game. We've got to be able to grow up on offense because we really got 8 new starters on offense, so we've got to really learn from this experience and move on and become better on the offensive line. And really those things are exposed versus a team like Nashville because it's not easy. It's not easy to move the ball. And our defense showed that it wasn't easy to keep them down, but they did. I think offensively, Nashville had only 229 yards of total offense. You can see our guys flying around to the football right there, doing an excellent job. And so that was a real, even in a loss, you find those small victories. That was a real victory for our defense.
And right here, the last real score for Nashville in the first half. And at this point, it seems like your guys made some really great adjustments on defense. And from this point, really, your defense did a great job containing everything that Nashville had to throw at you.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, and especially, Coach Kaiser does an excellent job coordinating the defense. And then Coach Brumfield does a great job with the defensive line, Coach Hart with the linebackers. And so they're a well-coached bunch of football players. And really, they just took the challenge at halftime. And players make plays. Coaches don't make plays. Coaches, we do our best to get our players in the best situations that we can possibly get them in. And then we expect these players to make plays. And a lot of times they did on Friday night. You saw Bryant Robinson coming up with a huge play with that catch over their defensive back. So that was good. And you can see our defense, again, just flying to that football, not allowing them to convert, and we do a really good job, especially in that third quarter.
And something we saw right there was Anthony Jenkins, and then right here Bailey goes with the tip right there to knock the ball out of his hands. Your secondary did a great job all night, but then also it seemed like every single possession on both sides of the ball, your team improved. And so your defense is getting more into the backfield, but then also your offense seems to be getting into gear more as the game goes on.
Yeah, and you can see right here they really did an excellent job of not allowing them to change the field position. We stay in Nashville's territory right there. Jeff Blake makes a good throw to Jay Brooks Burnham. Jay Brooks Burnham was our player of the game. He actually had more production versus Hot Springs than he did versus Nashville, but just the way he blocked, how hard he played, he graded out on the offensive side of the ball, so really pleased. Here's another huge catch by Jay Brooks Burnham, so really proud of his effort and his execution during the game. So great job by Jay Brooks Burnham.
Really just a heads-up play right there, you know, escaping the sack, but then also having the presence of mind to look back over and find a receiver. And then for his guy to find the open spot right there and finding the hole, and then obviously Cervantes has been good, but really it seemed like there was a momentum shift right here.
It really was, and I feel great about Jeff Blake. One of the things that he does really well is he's able to escape the pocket, and then he was looking downfield for an open receiver, saw Riley Cooper, made a huge throw to Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper was uncovered in the end zone, and he was able to make that play. So really excited about that. And then Chris Cervantes all night on kickoff was excellent as far as his kick placement. Wherever we told him to kick it, he kicked it. So that was really good for us.
And again, Brandon Moore against a guy that's a Division I recruit, a signee to Ole Miss, and then just a good job. He was on an island all night, and he was able to stay right there. And then your defense makes another big stand before halftime. Cutter Jester right there on the tackle, among other guys, to prevent them from scoring right before they go into the half.
That was a huge play by Cutter, by our defense. You know, just excellent job. Cameron Bashir's on our kickoff coverage was actually the special teams player of the game, so excited about him and what he did during the football game on kickoff coverage. He has just improved every week at defensive end, so really excited about what he has added to our team. He's one of those guys that did not start last year but has done an excellent job of learning what to do. I mean, you see him wrong arm right there. We gotta make a better tackle, but then we end up putting our face mask right on the ball. Ball comes loose, we get the ball back to our offense quickly.
And one thing that you could kind of tell in this game is, like, once there was the momentum there, Nashville wasn't expecting that, and it seemed like they weren't able to play nearly as well when your guys were firing on all cylinders and getting into the defensive line. Snell, the quarterback for Nashville, a good quarterback, but really wasn't able to be that productive once he had guys in his face.
Yeah, he really wasn't. And our defensive linebackers have a lot to do that. You see Anthony Jenkins Jr., number 33 right there, chasing down the running back. Anthony, he was our defensive player of the week this week, did an excellent job with some TFLs and sacks. You see Alex Buckley there on the run. He kind of gave us a spark with our running game because we really hadn't been able to get many rushing yards up to that point, and then Alex Buckley came in and was able to do that for us. And really, we were kind of hesitant to put him in because he was only able to practice really well on Wednesday. He was still recovering from his ankle injury, but we felt like he could possibly give us that spark, and so we gave him the ball. He did an excellent job. I'm excited about having him back for the rest of the season. See Bryant Robinson here. Jeff Blake went down with cramps on the sideline, and that's another thing that I take personally, and I feel like is not, something that I pride myself on. Our players being in better condition than our opponent, and in that situation, we had about 3 or 4 guys down with cramps, and so we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And that's on me. So, but Bryant Robinson did a great job of coming in. He ran 2 plays, threw 1 touchdown pass to Ty. Ty did a great job of getting open right there, and we get a score.
We were talking about kickoff coverage earlier and how crucial that was right there. Ty Jones on a good coverage, which puts them in bad field position. And again, just the pressure, getting to Snell on that hit, forces a bad throw, and then again, your guys just being able to control the line of scrimmage and make sure that they're not able to do anything.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you just saw our defensive line really gets after it, and I'm so excited about those guys and how hard they play, their ball get off. So that's really good for us, and just look forward to continuing to have really good defensive games, and then offensively, just being able to improve each week, not give the ball up. Right here, this is a good drive. Alex Buckley, yards after contact a minute ago, was able to get those tough yards, and then he's able to get it inside the 10 right there. Really good for us right there. Then we take the bubble. As I said earlier, there was about 4 or 5 times that we did not take the bubble. We take the bubble there. It's an 8-yard score for us right there. We kick it through the uprights again with Chris Cervantes, and we're up 21-18, minute 22 left in the third quarter. As I said, I felt like we really dominated that third quarter, and we've got to be able to do that for 4 quarters against a well-coached, good football team like Nashville.
And again, right here, swarming the football, hard hitting, really just solid play. And then it seems like you've gotten Nashville out of their comfort zone. But to go back to the offense real quick, you talk about taking the bubble. The bubble isn't successful unless you have guys blocking downfield, and you've got guys that are willing to buy into that and do a great job blocking their cornerbacks.
Yeah, and you saw that on the touchdown. Bryant Robinson did an excellent job of keeping that cornerback away from Jay Brooks. Jay Brooks able to get into the end zone. And our defense is playing extremely hard and well right now. We feel like we've got them right where we want them. Offensively, they can't get much going, and so we're able to kind of keep that momentum in the third quarter right there. We're up 21-18, and then right here, we get a good punt. We change the field position right here. And I'm not sure if this was before or after we had misexecuted the punt earlier, but just that mistake after they had scored on us for the pick six really kind of, I don't know, took the wind out of our sails, and we've got to be able to understand that we can finish a game like that off, and part of that, again, I take responsibility for that, and we're not going to make those type mistakes again. Right here, we catch a break, and our defense again flying around, doing an excellent job right here.
And really, on this play, you have a guy that's going Division I, a great play. Brandon Moore and Adrian Barrett right there on the coverage. As good as it can get. In most cases, that's not a catchable ball, just a great heads-up play by them. But again, it seems like your guys, they're still fighting a hard, incredibly hard run right here on kickoff coverage. There's still a lot of fight left in these guys at this point.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about anything that our guys did at the end of the game. I felt like we fought till the end of the game. Again, just some misexecution here and there. That are really, all of those misexecutions are really correctable. We take the bubble here, we get 10 yards on it, so we've got to continue to be able to see that bubble and take it. And this is the second pick six. We just an overthrow on the ball right here, and we're unable to catch Petway in this situation. So. We've got to be able to execute a little bit better in the fourth quarter to be able to finish off a game like this. But again, I really believe that this is going to be a learning experience for our team. We're going to grow from it. We're going to get better from it and continue to work hard to be successful this season.
And I think another positive to come out of this is to see how you guys responded. Things aren't looking as good as they could be right now in this game, and yet they're still flying around to the football. They're still playing incredibly aggressive. They're still getting after it, and that's got to be a good positive thing to see as a head coach.
Oh, it really is. I'm proud of our guys, the way they finished the game, even though it didn't come out in our favor. Proud of the way that they fought till the end, and they just like I said earlier. I wouldn't trade any of our guys for anybody else. I feel great about where we are right now as a program. I feel great about where our kids are and their mentality, because I believe, everybody shows up on Sunday. They're ready to work. They're ready to find out what we've got to do to get better, and then we're going to get better. And that's really the best way to overcome a loss, is to go back to work, and really that's the only way.
Definitely. Now let's send it on down to Badger Fieldhouse with player interviews.
Hey, I'm Mackenzie. I'm here at AHS today with seniors Adam Birdwell and Keelan Wiley to ask them a few questions about this season. So first off, Adam, can you tell me what position you play and what else you're involved with at the high school?
I play middle linebacker and I run track.
What about you, Keelan?
I play outside linebacker and I just play football.
Great. So can you guys tell me what your favorite part about being on the team is?
Just getting the privilege to play on a great football team.
Getting to play with all these good athletes and a good coaching staff, and that's it.
That's great. All right. So how do you guys feel the season's been going so far?
Well, we got our first loss, but I mean, it's nothing that can't stop us from going and getting the ring.
What do you think, Keelan?
It's been a pretty good season so far, other than last week's game, but we'll come back 10 times stronger.
Cool. So, okay, this is you guys last season. What are some personal goals y'all have set for yourselves?
I mean, just get that ring.
Winning conference championship first and then taking state.
Great. All right, one more question. Do you guys have any plans or goals for after graduation? It's okay if you don't know yet, but
I want to go play college ball.
I just want to go to college and get out and make money.
perfect. Thanks, guys. All right, reporting from AHS for the J.R. Eldridge Show, I'm Mackenzie.
Underwriters for the J.R. Eldridge Show include Austin Wingfield State Farm Insurance, Southwest Sporting Goods, ESPN Radio 106.9 in Arkadelphia, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, and Arnold Batson Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Here again is Jackson Carter.
Coach, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other scores from around the conference this past week. Obviously, Arkadelphia comes out with a loss, but as we'll talk about in a few minutes, we're looking forward to this next week. Mena beats Ashdown 55-34. Malvern beats Bauxite 41-17. Fountain Lake beats Waldron 35-13. Looking at this next week, Arkadelphia is going to take on Waldron this week in Arkadelphia. Malvern is at Mena, Nashville at Fountain Lake, and Ashdown at Bauxite. So, Coach, let's go ahead and start talking Waldron. It's a week that we're coming back. Your guys are excited. They're ready to better themselves. What are some of the things that you're taking out of this past week and implementing this coming week?
Well, this week, again, we're going to go back to the basics of being physical, making sure that we're in good shape, ready to play for Friday. And then just focusing, honing in on those things that we really need to do to be better as a football team offensively, focusing on that base offense and making sure that we're taking the bubbles, making sure that we're able to run the football, making sure that we're blocking the right guys, making sure that our blocking, our tackling, our flying to the football, all of those fundamentals continue to be in place, and so those are some of the things that we'll focus on in practice, and really just another thing that we've got that we're going to focus on is starting fast. I feel like I think we've outscored opponents 62-0 in the third quarter or something like that, which is a great stat, but we need to take that into the first quarter, the second quarter, and all the way through the football game. So that's one of the things that we're going to focus on. And I really felt like on Sunday that we talked about a lot of the mistakes that we made. And so, as we start practice this week on Monday, I really want to focus on some of the real positive things that we did, things such as our defense and the way that they were able to hold Nashville's offense to 228 yards. I mean, really the yardage battle was very few, and if we execute, it was not a very big margin. I think they had 228 total yards of offense. We had 198. If in the fourth quarter we execute offensively, we end up winning that ball game and winning the yardage battle. So, focusing on those minute details that can win or lose a big game are the things that we're going to focus on. Focusing on being very attentive to detail.
Waldron, obviously a team that has struggled in the recent years. What do you tell your guys to make sure that they stay focused on the fact that this is just like any other normal game?
Well, we just talked to them about, and we've always said this, we want to make sure that we treat every opponent the same to prepare to win the football game. So that's one of the ways that we, regardless of the opponent, that we're going to make sure that we try to help our guys understand that it really doesn't matter. We want to make sure that we execute on every snap of the football game and execute to the best of our ability. So I think, regardless of what the record is, regardless of what they look like on film, we want to be perfect in our effort and our execution.
You were talking about conditioning earlier and how that's something you take pride in. What are some of the things that you think you're going to do this week in order to make sure that your guys are in top condition? Yeah,
one of the things that last year, our system was on Mondays, we do gassers. On Tuesdays, we do a different type of conditioning. And then on Wednesdays, we always work out on Wednesdays, but we also do we did a little bit more running last year than we have done this year. So, the old adage is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, that system really wasn't broke, so we'll probably go back to that system that we've had in the past to make sure that there is no fatigue toward the end of the ball game. And we were doing some things in practice that I felt like would be beneficial over that other stuff that we had been doing in the previous year, but it hasn't paid off, whereas last year, that conditioning paid off a little bit more.
Beginning of the show, you were talking about how in a loss, character is shown completely. We'll talk about the character of this team.
Yeah, I feel like our character's really good. I mean, I feel like everybody on our football team is bought into what we're doing, and I just continue to believe that our players are going to really respond with better effort, better execution, more attention to detail, and so I just feel great about all of our players and how they've responded to anything that we've done up to this point in our program. So look forward to seeing them respond again.
And we got a couple minutes left, so let's kind of keep on track with that. How do you feel the development of your players has gone so far? Obviously, we've seen them improve every game, but not even on a football level, but then also more on the character, personal level. How have you seen your guys develop as the season's gone on so far?
Yeah, I feel like our guys have really been more attentive to detail, not just on the football field, but also in the classroom. One of the things that we talk about is making sure our behavior stays good in the classroom, making sure that we're not being tardy to class. If you're tardy, we've got ways to remind you not to be tardy. And also on Sundays, one of the things that we've added to our program on Sundays, if you have a D or an F, a standing D or an F on your report card, then we do what we call big 21s for an F, big 15s for a D. So hopefully that will pay off, not just in the short term, but in the long term, realizing that there are consequences for not doing your work. Hopefully, what I would like for people to do if they come out of our program is just remember those type of consequences, and hopefully they'll come back one day 20 years down the road or call me on the phone and say, hey coach, I really appreciate what you coaches did for us as far as keeping us accountable in the classroom, because it paid off in my job, because now I show up every day and I do what I'm called upon to do, and maybe it'll make them more successful after they're done with high school football, because that's really the goal of our coaching staff, is to make a positive difference in the lives of the players. And there's more than just winning and losing, but you can learn so much from what happens in the game of football and what happens throughout a season, what happens throughout a week of a football season. So I'm excited about those little things hopefully paying off in not only their lives, but in the character that they have in their jobs and whatever they do from here on out.
Coach, it was great talking to you this week, and I look forward to talking more with you next week.
Thank you so much.
The Arkadelphia Badgers take on Waldron this Friday in Arkadelphia. We'd love to see you there, but if you're unable to make it or just want to listen to the radio, be sure to tune in to 106.9 FM as myself, Dr. Jeff Root, and Brandon Smith have the call. For Coach Eldridge, I'm Jackson Carter. Have a great week.
The J.R. Eldridge Show is sponsored by Southwest Sporting Goods, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, ESPN Radio 106.9 in Arkadelphia, Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, attorneys at law, and Austin Wingfield State Farm Insurance. Join us again next week for more Badger football action with Jackson Carter and head coach J.R. Eldridge.